Well, we assembled a group of about 40 exhibitors for the Earth Day Festival. These companies will sell anywhere from solar panels, solar energy, to acupuncture and herbal therapies. So we have a great show today.
Where we live and our earth is so important, especially to take care of and bring awareness and education to the community and the state in general.
St. Petersburg is very committed to clean water and clean coasts, and this really is an important part of our tourism business, and the scientists in the region are also very dedicated to educating the public to do things that they can to improve this and support city initiatives.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Once again, we are fortunate the sun is shining on this great city. I want to say a big thank you to the organizers and the sponsors of this festival, the first of many more to come. As the first green city in Florida, St. Petersburg is the perfect place to celebrate Earth Day. And we're only getting greener. In just the 100 or something days since I've taken office, I've created the position of the Director of Sustainability and Green Initiatives. We've moved forward with universal curbside recycling. We've unveiled a new solar and geothermal at our most popular pool. We held a workshop on sea level rise, and we continue to look for ways to be more efficient, to help the planet, and to help our residents save money. We are the stewards of this Sunshine City, so it's our job to leave this place better off than we found it. And so I'm deeply appreciative of an event like this that helps to raise awareness and helps to support the Blue Ocean Film Festival, which we're so excited about. I want to encourage everyone that's here today to hang around, to visit the exhibits, and most of all, to enjoy the sunshine in one of our most beautiful parks. And I'd also like to read a special proclamation for today. Whereas the first Earth Day was nationally proclaimed in 1970 to raise public awareness of the need to protect the environment and to conserve resources. And whereas National Earth Day is now celebrated on April 22nd of each year in order to foster environmental awareness in our community. And whereas the city of St. Petersburg was enacted the first green city in the United States on May 16, 2008. And whereas all people, regardless of race, gender, income, or geography, have the right to a healthy, sustainable environment and economic growth. And whereas it is understood that the citizens of the global community must step forward and take action to create a green economy to combat global challenges. And whereas a green economy can be achieved on the individual level through educational efforts, public policy, and consumer activism campaigns. And whereas the St. Petersburg Downtown Partnership is hosting its annual Earth Day Festival on April 19, 2014 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with programs and events for the people of all ages. And whereas the Healing the Earth, Healing Ourselves Earth Day celebration at South Straw Park is an acknowledgement of our environment and its dependence on our careful stewardship. Now, therefore, I, Rick Kreisman, Mayor of the great city of St. Petersburg, do hereby proclaim April 19, 2014, Earth Day in St. Petersburg. And I encourage all residents, businesses, and institutions to celebrate the Earth on Earth Day and on every day, reflecting on the importance of a sustainable environment and economy. Thank you all so much for being here today.
Hi, my name is Montserrat Surf, and I just wanted to show you the river that Mayor Kreisman is going to cut today. This is coming from all the trash that have been picked on the beach. So as you can see, we find anything and everything on it. So very symbolic cutting the ribbon and using a very materials that really pollute all our water and all our beaches.
St. Petersburg is great. I mean, it's a look around us. The green parks, the city did an incredible job over the years to keep our parks. And with the new administration today, it is changing. And the city, it really wants to push green initiatives. So I think we're going to see a big change within the next 4 to 8 years.
Each little booth, each 10 by 10 booth that you see here is a little mini gallery. And it's an opportunity to see the work that the artist represented in that little mini gallery is doing and is offering to the public. And in many cases, you're going to have an opportunity to get some new work, perhaps just completed, at a price way below what it would be if it was sitting in a gallery up on one of the main streets in town.
It's also to show, I think, not only the community here, but people that come to the show, that we have a lot of great local artists. I know there are artists that are from outside of the state, but a majority of them are from the state, and it's a great venue to see the whole city as a whole. So it really brings great attention to our city.
It's wonderful to see all the creative energy that's surrounding us today, and this is my first visit to Mainsail, and I'm happy to be here. I've been doing very well with my designs of original silks and handmade clothing. It's art to wear, and people enjoy transforming themselves.
What is going on here today is artwork was submitted kindergarten through 12th grade from both public and private schools in Pinellas County. It was all brought in to the visual arts department, and they brought in a judge, and over 200 pieces were sent in from the schools across the county, and we had 12 awards of merit and 12 awards of excellence winners here. And behind me we have the 5 who won the Young Masters Awards, and each one of these won $1,000 to either go towards college or whatever they saw fit.
Well, I do sculpture, and the series that I'm showing here I call interpretive portraiture, meaning that more than just trying to achieve a likeness of somebody, I'm trying to get more depth about who this person is or was, in the case of Van Gogh, of course, and to express that as a part of the total image. Van Gogh, for example, was more than anything else about color, but I imagine him as so obsessed with color that his head actually became the paint tubes full of the color, just squeezing it out of his brain so he could put it onto the canvas. So that's how I came up with this idea of this representation of Van Gogh.
It is great exposure. I've met a lot of people. I've been in some galleries after last year's show, and I've seen a lot of people that I saw last year. They came back and bought some of my prints. It's a lot of fun too.
All the sculptures that I do move in the wind.
They're like green sculptures. A lot of people think they have motors in them, but they don't. They're all powder coated, they're made of steel and stainless steel, and then when the wind blows, the actual heads start to move like a real animal.
Well, I use cast glass as my chosen material. So I am sculpting objects and then casting them in glass using sand molds. I use a lot of mythological imagery mixed with animal imagery. I've got the birds here and different figurative pieces, very spiritual pieces. So I have a lot of different influences, but I think the spiritual content of the work is the overriding kind of theme. The St. Pete art community is just probably one of the most happening places on the west coast of Florida. It's the place to be. I live over in Tampa, but a lot of us go back and forth across the bridge for the St. Pete art community.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all so much for joining us today. My name is Cheryl Anderson. I am a mother, a grandmother, and the state chapter leader for Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense America here in Florida. We're going to start this morning with Mayor Kreisman.
Good morning, everyone. One of my first acts as mayor was to sign the Mayors Against Illegal Guns Statement of Principles. Because I believe public safety is job one. I said at the time, our St. Petersburg police officers confiscate about 1 firearm per day, and that's 1 firearm per day too many. I also said that we wanted to create a culture where illegal guns and gun violence are not welcome, and that if you illegally possess a gun, you are not welcome here in St. Petersburg. A year ago, our leaders in Washington, D.C. failed the 90% of Americans who support criminal background checks on all gun sales. And that is why we are here today. I am pleased to stand with my friends and colleagues to help launch a new organization that brings together mayors, moms, and a grassroots movement of Americans who will work together to end gun violence. Gun violence is not an isolated problem. It is an American problem, and it affects everyone in every town. And that is why Everytown for Gun Safety was created. Everytown opens the next phase in the fight to end gun violence. It will take the works of mayors like me, moms across the nation, and many other everyday Americans to convince policymakers in Washington to do more to protect our children and our communities. With the launch of Everytown, our efforts are only going to grow. This is an all-hands-on-deck effort. We are asking you to go home today and enlist more moms, dads, brothers, sisters, people in your neighborhood, people in your community, more law enforcement officials, more members of the clergy, more sportsmen, and more educators. We are passionately invested in this fight. It is the time to turn the tide, and together, I know that we will. Thank you all for being here today.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave DeKay. I'm the interim chief of police here in St. Petersburg and a proud member of the mayor's team of visionaries that are now leading the city. And we have some other members here today I'd like to recognize as well. We have council members Carl Nurse, Council member Jim Kennedy in the crowd, as well as Deputy Mayor Kanika Tomlin. It's all part of the effort that City Hall devotes to this effort. On my own behalf, we see horrific accounts of gun violence reported in the media, and we wonder if it can happen here. Our officers encounter armed criminals with greater frequency on the street. We know all too well that firearms are out there in the hands of criminals within our community. Every day, law enforcement faces the increasing risk of encountering a dangerous person in the community with a firearm. The background check system is an important step to ensure that firearms stay out of the hands of dangerous people, especially in cases that would protect domestic violence victims. Responsible gun ownership can help as well. If you own a firearm, it is important to properly store and handle that firearm. From a legislative perspective, sensible gun laws go hand in hand with protecting the Second Amendment. Respecting our rights and honoring the Second Amendment is as important as protecting our fellow citizens. One important way we can reduce gun violence is by promoting responsible gun ownership. Please help us make our community safer. And one of the ways you can do that is to fill out a voter commitment card today. And I thank you for your support.
Good afternoon. First, I want to say that I'm a veteran. Second, I'm a gun owner. Third, I am the mother who lost a child at the age of 21 to someone who thought they had the right to take his life, to someone who was in possession of an illegal weapon. I have joined Mayors Against Illegal Guns and Moms on Demand because this is a very important issue to me. If I can prevent another mother from losing a child, that is what I would do. I have signed my pledge card to support any elected official who votes or who will require that we have common sense gun laws. What are you waiting on? Sign yours also. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Manuel Sykes. I'm the president of the local chapter of the NAACP as well as a pastor of Bethel Community Baptist Church. And in both cases, I've experienced on firsthand the difficulty in public safety issues. I've had children in my church that were killed by guns, and as a part of the NAACP, we've protested and rallied against irresponsible actions that ended lives due to gun violence. And so I'm here today to say that, no, it's not a constitutional issue, but it is a public safety and moral issue. It's an issue that millions of people like myself and these that are standing here believe has to be addressed on a legislative level. We believe in supporting politicians who support the right of every citizen to live in peace. As a gun owner, it's a very important right that we have to use or to have and own guns, but it is terribly irresponsible when for any other reason than public safety and personal safety that people own guns. And then thirdly, when you have a culture of gun violence that is so prevalent in my own community, it is especially important to have those persons that we elect to office to fight against that ownership and the proliferation of gun violence. And so I'm here and I'm asking everyone here to sign the card and to let all potential candidates know that if they're not on the side of gun sense and responsibility, that they won't get our vote in their next elections. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me today. My name's C.L. Townsend. I'm a gun owner for over 60 years. I come from a hunting family of 6 generations of Floridians. So I'm a Florida cracker, and I know the difference between hunting and the hunted. I know the difference between protecting the Second Amendment rights and responsible gun ownership. The difference between the hunting and the mindset of the hunted that is encouraged by the fear-mongering of the NRA. This fear-mongering is a plague on our discussion of the responsible regulations needed to protect our children and ourselves. Newtown broke my wife and my heart, and I know all of you. And I joined the NRA to learn about their positions. Some of them are reasonable, but however, their use of fear versus facts is the destabilizing force in public discussions about gun violence prevention. Recently, as of April 10th, their attack on efforts to enact universal background checks show their true colors. This attack again uses the old gun registration of all firearms tirade to fire up their members and again mislead and distort the discussion. This is simply another attack based on fear designed to support the paranoia of the hunted. It shows their willingness again to ignore the facts and that fear sells guns and facts don't matter to them in this debate. I recognize the need the Second Amendment rights go hand in hand with responsible gun ownership, and I am far from being alone. As many have reported, some 72% of the NRA and 87 to 90% of Americans agree with me. We support background checks and other common sense gun violence prevention measures like those championed by the mayors and the moms. If you believe in the Second Amendment, you can also stand with me and other responsible gun owners by speaking out in favor of common sense measures for like local regulation of firearms and avoiding militarizing our public schools. We need to let our elected officials hear from us at all levels of government. So please, sign your card as I have. Join us in this noble fight that we can win. It's a long slog, but we have to start, and we have to start now. Thank you.
As a mom from Florida, I am excited to be part of Everytown for gun safety. We're almost a year to the day after a minority of U.S. senators blocked legislation to require comprehensive gun background checks, despite near unanimous public support. We know that it is up to the mothers of America to stand up and speak out to make our children, our families, and our communities safer. It is up to us to raise our voices and make our leaders listen. I joined Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America a little more than a year ago for several important reasons. One was the death of Jordan Davis, who's part of my extended family. Another reason was Newtown, the 20 children and 6 adults killed at Sandy Hook. Not only did I have family there in Connecticut, but I also was a first grader in a Connecticut elementary school. And third of all, the most important reason of all, Gabriel Dakari, Maxwell, Matthew, and Diana, my grandchildren who, like all children, deserve a community free of gun violence. Florida moms have joined mothers around the country in nationwide campaigns which affected changes in Starbucks' policy of allowing guns in their stores and Facebook's rules for pages that offer guns for sale. On the anniversary of the tragedy at Sandy Hook, we declared no more silence and renewed our call to our state and national legislators to make the necessary changes to our laws to make our communities safe from gun violence. We did this in person, at hearings, by phone, by letter, and through social media, and we continue to join with other organizations in marches and rallies to create a louder voice so that we can be heard all over that vocal minority that seeks to increase the presence of guns in all areas of our lives, making our communities more vulnerable to gun violence. Today, we are starting the Gun Sense voter campaign that will turn out for the first time 1 million voters who will go to the polls in November and vote to end gun violence. We're going toe-to-toe with the gun lobby, and while they may have a decades-long head start, we're going to win because the passion of moms to protect their children will beat out the interests of the gun lobby. Our moms want leaders who vote for common sense gun laws that will protect our children. And if our leaders don't vote to protect them, then we'll find new ones to replace them. We'll ask our leaders, plain and simple, are you protecting the gun lobby or are you protecting our children? Now, all mothers know we can't expect change to happen overnight. That's why moms everywhere are working to change laws state by state and city by city until even Washington listens to what Americans are telling them. We want stronger laws that protect our families. Gun sense is the simple idea that we can do much more to keep our families and communities safe from gun violence. Respecting the rights is as important as protecting people, and today, Americans across the country will begin pledging to vote for laws and political leaders that support common sense efforts to end gun violence. Please join us by completing the Gun Sense voter card. Or you can also go to www.gunsensevoter.org and submit your pledge there. By working together, moms, dads, grandparents, and all people interested in gun violence prevention can make our state and our country safer.
I thank you all so very much for being here. We have a lot of great attendance, and as you can see, this is a very vibrant community, so we'll be challenged by the traffic going by. But I do want to recognize a few people because it really does take everyone working together to make this a wonderful community. So I'd like to recognize David McKay. He's the interim chief of police for the city of St. Petersburg. Wave. Shara Anderson is representing Senator Bill Nelson's office. Sorry. Already, maybe I got it out of the way. Sorry about that. Bill Nelson. Also, Pat May from Community Health Centers of Pinellas. She's one of our strategic partners between health and behavioral health. Tom Barnhorn is the vice mayor of Seminole. Angela Rousson here is representing the Juvenile Welfare Board, wonderful funder of ours. Thank you very much. We have Tom Whittakin from PEMS, who's a partner of ours. We have Karen Higgins from Park, who is a partner of ours, and Mickey Thompson from 211, who's a partner of ours. And we all have to work together to provide these services. I want to thank WRXB Radio for interviewing. You may have heard some of the interviews, but they really get the word out about the services, especially in this community, so we really do appreciate that. Did I leave anyone out? Please speak now, and I'm sorry if I did. So, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to be providing these services here. You know, we really want a healthy and happy community, and mental health is important to be happy and healthy. There is no health without mental health, and transportation, as you know, is a challenge for our entire county. So we are so happy to have a location in an area of great need where people can walk to this service here, or they can actually take the bus, because we're right on the bus line, and one will probably come up as we're talking. And we know that there have been a lot of tragedies in this community and really in the nation related to mental health. So it is critical that we get the word out, that we destigmatize it, that we get people interested in getting help early on so that we do not have more tragedies. Mental health is really key, and we're so happy here to provide outpatient services. We have counseling. We have psychiatric services, we have psychiatrists, we have advanced registered nurse practitioners here, we have case management services, and we have financial education to help individuals improve their credit and be more viable in our community. So we thank all of you for partnering with us, and I want to thank the police department for helping us out with our traffic and our, I hope I've thanked everyone, really, it's great, and St. Pete TV as well. So I just am so thrilled that we're here, and I want you to know that we've had a great turnout of clients who really, so it does prove the need in this community and the importance of these services. So it's going to make us all a better community as a result of the services we're able to provide here. So I'm very pleased to introduce to you Mayor Rick Kreisman.
Good morning, everyone. I am really thrilled to be here today for the opening of this center. To have this center here in this part of town is so important, and Barbara spoke a lot about the needs that we have here, but you know, one of the things that we've been talking a lot about since this administration took over is trying to make sure that all areas of the city were served and all areas of the city had access to the same services that exist in different parts. So to have you all here says a lot about what we're trying to accomplish. But also, you know, during the time that I served in the legislature, one of the things that really concerned me was the failure of Tallahassee to recognize the importance of mental health counseling and addressing issues related to mental health. And it's unfortunate that we as a community, we have to do it on the local level because we're not going to get the help from Tallahassee that we need. So to have you guys here in the community providing that help is so critical. If we're really going to grow this community, if we're going to address the issues of human need and economic need, then we have to address the issues of mental health. We have to destigmatize getting counseling and the importance of getting counseling. And that there shouldn't be a stigma associated with it, but it should be just another thing that you deal with on the way to life and growing as a person and dealing with those issues. So thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for supporting the Suncoast Center. And thank you, Barbara, for locating here in this location and recognizing the need that exists in this community. We're thrilled to be here today.
1, 2, 3.